What is up, guys, and welcome back to another episode of Creeks Outdoors. See this right here, guys? This is a $1 bill. What I'm going to show you guys today is how to save your first 1,000 of these.
Show me the money. So
this video is specifically tailored towards teenagers. I am now 20, so I'm not far past you, only not even 1 year. But I like finance and that sort of thing. I by no means have a lot of money. I did one thing decently right, saving some money before I got a little bit older. So I want to show you guys how, like, if you were like me, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago, 3 years ago, whatever, just 2 years ago, if you're a teenager and you want to learn how to save your first $1,000, maybe you're in 8th grade, 10th grade, 12th grade, doesn't matter. Maybe you're 25, who knows? That first $1,000, saving that first amount of money, getting a little kind of safety net cushion so you can then start to do more things that are going to make you more money is very important. If you have $1,000 just as a teenager, you probably have more money than most teenagers. So
hey fellas, look what I found in my pocket. Look, a year's salary right here.
We're trying to put ourselves in that top 1% or so, so that's what we're working on. So guys, here's what you want to do to save your first $1,000. Number one, this is going to be very obvious, maybe too obvious for some people, and that is to get a job, guys.
Sucks, okay? But you gotta make some money so you can pay for an apartment.
I don't want to work at a grocery store.
This is something I did. I probably got my first job 8th grade or something like that. I started working for my uncle 7th or 8th grade, and I worked for him all through high school, and that was one of the most important things I ever did. And it taught me a ton just about life, being more responsible, gives you more street smarts. People who start working young, you know, they just have a lot of common sense. It builds common sense, being able to have a job, deal with real world things and ideas. You're dealing with customers, if you're working somewhere, people, your boss and stuff. It's going to give you a lot of real world kind of grit and knowledge. So definitely get a job because you need that to make some money. The next thing you're going to want to do is to open a checking and savings account. You can do this at literally any bank. If you're under 18, you have to go in with a parent and they have to sign with you. But it's very easy. You want to have 2 accounts, a checking and a savings, at least 2. So go and open both of those. Make sure you're opening them like no cost ones. You don't want to have one that has a monthly fee, and hopefully you can find one that has no minimum balance that you need in the account. If you open one somewhere where you need a minimum balance, see if you can borrow a couple $100 or whatever the minimum balance is from your parents and leave that money in there and then pay them back once you get enough to cover that. The third thing you're going to want to do, and this is really important, I was wondering how to save money at first, which way to look at it, how to split things up, and I watched like an old Grant Cardone video where he was explaining to some employees what to do with your paychecks. So this is not really what he said exactly, but I'm gonna kind of explain an easy way to do it. So every time you get a paycheck, I'm assuming if you're in high school that your parents are paying for pretty much everything. I'm gonna assume that. I know that's not always the case. We're gonna assume that your parents are pretty much paying for all your meals, clothes, and everything. So really keep your expenses at a minimum. Obviously you wanna have fun when you're in high school and stuff. You have a job, so you wanna maybe go out to eat with your friends and stuff. That's fine. Maybe your parents can give you money for that. If not, you can use some of this money for that. But take every paycheck you get. Let's say you get $100 a month. Split that right down the middle. Every single dollar you make, no matter what you're doing, split it right down the middle. If it's only $1, split it 50 cents to 50 cents. You're gonna put half of that. So if it's $100, 50 of it into the savings account, and then you're gonna put $50 into the checking account. You're only using the money in the checking account. Do not touch the savings account. Use the money in the checking account. You can use that for whatever you want. Have freedom with it. So it's like every dollar you make, you're only keeping half of that for yourself. You're putting the other in the savings account and just leaving it there. So if you're making $100 a week and you keep doing this every week, you're splitting, you're gonna have $1,000 in only 20 weeks, which is like 5 months. And I'm assuming you can make more than $100 in a week. Sometimes maybe you're busy, you're only making $100 a week. Pick up extra things, you know, do things for your grandparents, friends, whatever. Shovel some driveways when they need it. Just ask your parents if they need any help, if you can do anything for them. There's tons of ways to pick up some extra money, but every dollar you make sure you split that right down the middle. If you're making $200 a week, you're gonna have $1,000 in only 10 weeks. So pretty good right there to have that $1,000 in there, to see that in there. It's gonna be just so great to know that you have that little buffer and you have a lot more money than most teenagers are gonna have. So some tips I have for making this first $1,000, like I said, do as much stuff as you can to make extra money, really hustle. And you're in high school, so you're probably gonna have some extra time to work and stuff. One thing I also like to do is to try to check my accounts, checkings and savings accounts as much as possible. Just knowing how much you have in there all the time will help you keep focused on building that up. So if you maybe check that every morning or once a week, every couple mornings, whatever, keep checking how much you have in your account so you know where you're at and you don't overspend, but you also motivate you to hustle to make more. And when you're in high school, a lot of the jobs you're gonna have are real part-time. So you could have like a couple jobs at once. You know, you could have a neighbor down the road who has a landscaping business, maybe needs some extra help now and then. You text them when you have free time, like, hey, is there anything I could do? They're probably gonna want some help. A lot of people want help, especially right now in the world. Everyone is hiring. They literally, if you can only work a couple of hours a week for them, just help stock shelves or rake their leaves or whatever, they're probably gonna want the help. And having multiple jobs is something I always did. So I had a lot of jobs growing up. I would just try different things. I mean, I would leave one job, like I worked for my uncle, then I would leave him to go work at a golf course. Just try new things and you're gonna gain a lot of experience. So next steps after you have your first $1,000, what you're gonna wanna do is make sure to leave that first $1,000 there. Do not spend it. Use that first $1,000, maybe take it and put it in a secure account. Sometimes at banks and savings account, you can set a minimum on the amount you have to have in the account. So if you can, maybe set that minimum at 1,000 so you won't be able to spend that. If you're responsible enough and you can trust yourself, then just leave it in that savings account. Or something you could also do is go and like open a Roth IRA with like Fidelity, or go invest that into like an index fund that tracks like the S&P 500, something really safe, maybe a bond or something. But go use that $1,000 and buy an investment with it. That is a great way, because you're gonna know that you're gonna have that $1,000 for longer term, because you can't use it if that money is locked up into something. But don't go and just like buy a new bike or something with that. If you want a new bike or something, then start saving up for that. After that, maybe you can start saving 75% and you have a third account and you put 50% in savings, 25% in that new bike account, and then you're spending the other 25%. Whatever it is, try to spend as little as possible at this time in your life. You have parents and stuff who are probably cooking for you, so you don't need to eat out all the time. Use that advantage you have right now where your parents are paying for a lot of stuff, and set yourself forward, save, start doing things that's gonna help you become one of that 1% down the road, guys. So I hope you liked this little video. I hope it was helpful. If you did, leave a thumbs up. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you on the next episode of Krieg's Outdoors.